Hey, Shelby. So here is a little screen cast for images, relating to images for um, our web pages. Um, you'll encounter an image for your recipe, right? In your recipe HTML, there's one image of your like fruit, vegetable, um, whatever the recipe is going to be on. Um, and so I just wanted to kind of go over some web image information as well. Um, if you look in the HTML code for the recipe file that you're going to be creating, you'll see that the image that I set was 500 by 700. Okay. You're welcome to use 500 by 700. Some of your classmates, they did um, a more horizontal photo, or they went a little bit larger. That's totally up to you. I did want to just kind of point out a couple of things like so, and I think it was going to be easier to show this way. So for web, um, and I'm going to do this right here. So 500, we're in pixel dimensions. Okay. We're not in inches anymore. For web, we're in pixels. 500 by 700. The 72 DPI is our resolution. Our color mode is RGB. Um, this background contents, I'm going to keep it white, but we're going to probably cover it up with something, so it might be irrelevant. But I wanted to point out that for the dimensions in web, right, the first number is always the width. So um, if you want to kind of look at this, right, we've got 500 by 700. Just by looking at the measurements, 500 is going to be the width, the height is 700. So it's a more portrait image. If I said that, I want, like, for a specific size, it's going to be 700 by 500, it's a completely different orientation, right? So the order of the dimensions that are given to you, they actually indicate the size and the orientation of something. So I'm gonna just hit create here just so you can see this, right? In class, we had talked about, like, in just knowing width first, height second. If I said, okay, I want you to make me a graphic that's like 200 by 50, right? Imagine in your head what that looks like. So it's going to be 200 wide, 50 height. So it's going to be a very long, skinny graphic, right? If I said it was going to be 1080 by 1080, that would be square, right? And if you are more of a visual person, right, and just pull out Photoshop and just kind of go, okay, 1080 by 1080, square, right? But when the sizes that are given to you, like the order of that number, it actually counts. That's really what I just wanted to kind of mention. And so for this one, right, when I save it out, and we had talked about this also in class, I guess, but it was mentioned that when you do save your files for web, let's say, so I'm going to, let's see, I'll make this Apple image so you can change it. you would put those image dimensions in the actual file itself. So if you look at how I named my file, Apple image 700 by 500, and I know that 700 width and 500 down, like I can see the proportion. So it's kind of helpful to put your image, your pixel dimensions in your file name so you can spot it really quickly, right? Even in just looking at this, and you should be able to see this in my screencast, right? Look at all the different sizes that I've got, right? And you can see at a glance, I can open up this 50 by 50 image without like I will know that it's a small square. Like if somebody was like, oh, you know what? If you can send me the 350 by 200, the 400 by 220 image, that would be great. Well, I can see in the file name, this is what I need to send them, right? 250 by 350 by 250, 200, and the 400 by 220. Right? I'll know at a glance what I need to send. Versus if I didn't put these measurements in there, right? I would have to open up each image and check the size. So it's more for time management, more than anything, really. And so I'm going to save this file right now. And here it is. And I'm going to open up, see if I have something available. I'll see if I can just. Okay, I'm going to open up my Apple image just to be consistent. So I'm going to take that Apple image or whatever that image is that I've drawn or that is, for my recipe. And I will copy and paste it. Copy and paste into that already sized file, right? So I know that this is my 700 by 500 file. Here's my Apple image. I want to kind of add a little bit of, I don't know, effect to it. Let's say you're more than welcome to do that. No one really, from what I can see, everyone just kind of stuck to a plain image. But I'm just going to add something. Okay, so I've got, this layered file for my web image, and I'm gonna just fix the letting really quick. Right? So when you have your image and it's ready to go and you're like, okay, this is my working file, this is my layered PSD. So this layered PSD, I'm saving it in the working folder. Okay, anything that's layered goes in the working folder, and I'll hit save. Okay, for all the images that go on a website, you have to optimize it for web. So to do so, right, this is what my image looks like. I'm going to go to File, Export, Save for Web. Okay. And this dialog box pops up. You can see different views of your image along with the different information on the file size. So here's the original image by itself. This is the optimized image by itself. This should look similar to your when you did your animated GIF. This is 2 up side by side, and this is 4 up. Okay, 2 up I think is sufficient. And then you can see here's our original file size. It was 1 megabyte for the layered file. For our PNG, PNG, JPEGs, and GIFs are web friendly. You can see that the file size changes depending on the file type. Okay. And so what we're basically looking for is the smallest file size. And for your animated GIF, we tried to stay under 150, right? And for any other images moving forward, you're just like, definitely try and stay under 150. If you can get like as low as you can, even better. Good practice for you, right? So in just looking at some of these file types, just look at the optimized file. You can see that some file types produce smaller file sizes, right? So in comparing the different file sizes, like a JPEG is kind of my best bet here. It's 54.88K, which is very small. And then I'm going to hit save. Okay, so this is my web optimized image. It's ready to go. I'll upload it to the website. So I'm actually going to put it in the web design folder in images. Okay, so all my final images are going to be in this folder, and I'll hit save. Okay, and when I do that, I'll go back to Dreamweaver, and you'll see if I refresh, there it is. So when we told Dreamweaver, like, this is our folder where everything, our images and our other files are going to go, we both basically told it like, hey, I get to see a view when I'm working in Dreamweaver of all my assets. And since Dreamweaver knows where your files are, it can allow you to help locate them. Like, so here, this was one of your other classmates. They were having issues with their file. I couldn't find it. And so here's an example of how Dreamweaver can help you. So this is her code. It seemed to be related, just so you have this knowledge, it seemed to be related to the image link. And so while you're typing in Dreamweaver, I've highlighted that image and I'm going to delete it up until where the equals is supposed to be, and I'll hit equals. And you can see that Dreamweaver is like, oh, I know you need something, right? Is it going to be in the web design folder? And you say, yeah, just click on it. And you can see that it basically filled in that information for you. Is it going to be in images? Yes, even better. And then it's going to, oh, well, which one? These are the images that I see, right? And so I can actually just tell it like, hey, look for this image, and it self-populates that information. Less typing for me and you, and hopefully less error, right? So I'm going to hit save. And then when I go to preview it, There it is. So here is that updated image. Okay, so um, that's a little bit about images. I think that'll take you through your welcome HTML and your recipe HTML. Um, for the recipe HTML, you'll see code that basically will allow you to now explore lists. Okay, so we have unordered lists, which are bulleted lists, and we have ordered lists, which are numbered. Okay, and for your ordered list or your unordered list, there are list items which are tagged differently, and you'll see it. And you need to tag those individual lines to let it know, like, oh, this needs to be part of that list. It needs a bullet. Um, Another part of your recipe HTML is the fact that you're going to learn how to link to an outside site, right? So here, for one of your classmates, and you'll see it looks very different in code, but this is the text that the link, this is the hypertext that it will link to, and let me see, I'll click this, to a brand new window, right? And it'll be about how to grow Brussels sprouts. So for your recipe, you don't need to make the recipe or write the recipe, but you are basically using my example for the apple recipe and you're applying it to your recipe of choice. So your classmate, she did Brussels sprouts. The reason why there's apples here is because I was helping her with image links. Um, but these are the subsections: how to grow Brussels sprouts, right? And it's from this Miracle Grow website. And then you have your recipe. Then you have, a paragraph. You've got a little heading here. Then you've got an unordered list. You've got another heading about instructions. And then you have your ordered list for the steps of how to make something. And then you're linking back. So the practice is for you to practice linking back and doing lists, right? So we're kind of building from that initial welcome page, which was fairly like simple in the sense of like there's a heading and a paragraph. Right? Now we have headings, we have paragraphs, we've got lists, and we've got hyperlinks. Okay? So building upon everything little by little. So, hopefully that helps with images. It kind of just brought you from images that you've built, right? That you web optimized, and then placing them in the page, right? So take a look at the code and let me know if you have questions. I will say, like, when you actually do input and finish your page in Dreamweaver, it kind of starts to make sense of what's going on. So just let me know and we can, touch base if this is the way to do this, considering what is being visible or not visible in class, in the Zoom meeting. I'm happy to do this, but just let me know. Okay, cool. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.